know, guys, if you could see it. Okay.
Yes, I can see the screen.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
can see also.
Awesome.
I can
All
see
right.
it too.
Cool. So, before we go into the Palo Alto technologies, we will do a basic cybersecurity, technology terms. We'll just get a hang of it because, as you know, Palo Alto is a next generation firewall. And why cybersecurity terminologies? Because it uses these terms in daily policies and the app ID content, signatures like this in the Palo Alto firewall. So first of all, how it works, I'm gonna take you to the class session first. Then after this, once we are through to the terms of through the technology terms, then we will start the deployment platforms. That is how Palo Alto, what forms it is available in the market, hardware and the VM. Then we will try to I will show you how to install it on your PC as a test, and how to do a hands-on experience. Second thing, the next thing will be basic policy creation, and how to create policies. What are the policies based on services, protocols and application. And after that, I will show you like how the how Palo Alto firewall is upgraded, and what are the next gen firewall features. Next will be your NAT configurations. Palo Alto has basic policy on NAT. They have a source NAT, destination NAT, and U-turn NAT. I'll show you all these concepts. Then we will see the layer 7, that is the application ID concept, which is protocol classification, decoders, actions, app ID override. So all these all these concepts are used in every day if you have a Palo Alto firewall. All right, and the second thing is, after this, after we are through these terminologies, we will straight hit the lab so that I will be showing you the UI, GUI, and will be explaining you in the classroom session. So it's easy for you to understand each and every aspect and each and every term which is in the GUI. So does that sound okay with everyone? Do you want to make any changes?
No, that's fine. So coming to the GUI, so with these VMs, we able to do GUI with the VMs, or we need to rely on your device, what you're sharing?
Well, as of now, what I will do, I will share you. I'll give you the path where you can download the VM,
Yeah.
and you need a VMware machine as well. The VMware workstation. So on that, you can actually import it, and you will be able to get the lab. I'll show you how to do it.
Okay.
Okay,
And
it
for
will be a different session altogether on that particular day.
okay, for the course contents, what do I see online? That's all going to be right. Like you covered most of the thing just now, but it's going to be everything, right? About the
Absolutely.
configuration part. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Sorry to interrupt you. One quick question. Can 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 you advise us during our lecture sessions
I'm
about
sorry. I'm
the
sorry. You're not audible. Could you please speak a little bit loud?
yeah? Can you advise us in regards to migration? From Cisco ASA to Palo Alto or Fortinet to Palo Alto.
Sure.
In some of the lecture, what are the steps required before migration and these kind of things?
Okay, so this, I think the topic that you're asking, it's out of the course content.
Yeah, it's not
I will
included
try
in the
to.
lecture, but at least we may know that what steps are included in the lecture in the
Sure,
migration.
sure. So once I complete the whole session, if the time implies, I would be happy to give you the steps and explain you in a bit. We will see that at the end how we know how the migration is done.
Ah, that's fine.
Okay, I won't promise you now, but if the time implies, I will for sure show you. And guys, just one important thing. Whenever the lecture is going, or whenever I'm giving the session, if you have any questions, You can please make a note of it, keep it with you, because at the end of every session I will give you, sufficient time to clear your doubts.
Okay, that's good.
So are we good? Shall I proceed?
Yeah,
Cool. Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, so before I start the actual session over here, I just want to understand, guys, are we aware of the TCP/IP model and the OSI model? Guys, I'll just start from the very basics, and I want to make sure that you, at the end of this, this training content on Palo Alto, at the end of the day, you know Palo Alto in and out. So, are we aware of OSI and TCP/IP, or do you want me to go ahead and give you the basics?
No, we are aware. I'm aware. So
All right.
yeah,
So we have everyone in this class all on the same page, right?
yeah, almost. But you can proceed some just what's
Sure.
important in
Yeah,
YSL
Okay,
lab.
sure.
yeah. If you just summarize it
Yeah,
for us, it would be good for all
yeah,
of us.
Sure. So what I'll do, when then I won't explain it in a topic wise. Whenever we have the use of that, TCP/IP or the OSI, I'll give you the summarized, a brief introduction. Okay.
okay,
Cool, guys. Okay. All right. So as we know, today is just a brief introduction of uh, Palo Alto. Now, Palo Alto, is anybody aware, like, when it was formed, and what exactly is the story behind Palo Alto?
no,
So Palo Alto Networks, it's an American multinational cybersecurity company which is headquartered in Santa Clara, California, and its core products are a platform that includes firewalls, cloud-based firewalls, which is known as Cortex right now, and it offers hardware firewall (VM) and cloud-based security as well. History, like, it was founded in 2005 by an Israeli American Nirzuk, and Nirzuk was working as a former engineer from Checkpoint and NetScreen Technologies. And Palo Alto Networks' objective was to solve a problem in an enterprise where facing with existing network security solutions. It was just like earlier we had only layer 4 security, that is securing security based on IP and your port number. And Palo Alto, what they did, they formed a firewall which had layer 7 security, and it was fast. Okay, why fast? Because it uses an architecture which processes all the layer securities at once. Okay, it's called SP3. I'll show you that in some time. Okay. Now, since starting to, I think, 2011, there's a about Gartner. It's a publication actually for listing the leaders in network security firewalls. So Gartner began listing Palo Alto Networks as a leader on the enterprise firewall, and since then till today, it is one of the leading technology in enterprise networking. And products we have, hold on. Products, I'll just write it down for you. So Palo Alto, what is the first product they have is next gen firewall. So the OS of Palo Alto is known as Pan OS. Okay, Palo Alto Networks OS, and the GUI is based on Panorama, which is just an orchestrator. So it is a network security control center actually, Panorama, that allows customers to manage a bunch of firewalls, or let's say number of firewalls at an enterprise scale from a single console. All right. uh, I will show you the different models that we have online. You will see in the Palo Alto web page. And Palo Alto, the best thing is that they have a threat research team, which is known as Unit 42. It is the intelligence team. So uh, your Panorama or your Palo Alto firewall, it will receive content update about threats each and every day. And a few of the updates you have to select and install, which will take care of the certain vulnerabilities as defined in your insecurity cybersecurity teams. Right. Now, guys, so do you know the emerging? Okay, I'll just show you emerging part of the firewalls over here. So first of all, are you aware like what is known as first generation firewall?
I know a little bit like first generation firewall is like inspect like the source and destination address or IP and port number, but not in details about how is packet, where is the application uses. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so I'll just give you a brief idea. What is first generation firewall? So first generation actually, these firewalls were relatively simple filter system called as packet filter firewalls. They made today's highly complex secure technologies for computers networks possible. So packet filter firewalls also referred to as stateless. Do you know? I mean, have you heard of this term, stateless firewall?
Yeah.
Yep. So packet filter firewalls also it was referred to as stateless firewalls. It filtered out and dropped traffic based on filtering rules. Packet filter firewalls did not maintain connection state actually. So what do you see? I'll just write it down for you guys. You can also make a note on this. So packet first generation firewall, which is known as a packet filter firewall. Okay. Now, it did not maintain. This means that it did not maintain any connection. Okay, no connection state, which is also known as stateless. This is a stateless firewall. Okay. So this means what? This means when a packet was processed as an unit without regard to real packets, the packet filters were deployed largely on routers and switches. So typically, like when the packet was was performed at layer 3 and layer 4 by matching the header fields of the packet against four tuples like who sent the packet, who was its intended recipient, that is the source and destination IP, the source and destination ports, and the protocol. So no high layer information was taken into account. So basically it means what? It was still layer 4. Okay, guys, are we clear on this first generation firewall, like what was happening?
So they just do filtering, packet filtering, and there's
Exactly.
no they don't mention connection, and they don't do other services like NATing and other stuff, right?
No, nothing, nothing.
Just based on the access list and just ports,
Exactly.
source and
Just
destination ports.
yes, just your source IP and destination IP, source port, and your destination port. Okay. Now, the main weakness of packet filter firewall was that hackers they could craft the packet to pass through the filters, taking advantage of the lack of state. So, when the packet filter firewall were first used, operating system stacks were vulnerable. Okay, and a single packet could, it could crash the system. And packet filters allowed all the web-based traffics, including web-based attacks, to pass through the firewall. So these firewalls were not able to differentiate between the valid return packets and the imposter return packets. How to handle these and other similar problems? It set the stage for future development of the firewalls. All right. So everyone, are we clear on the first generation firewall?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then we, due to this lack of the first generation, we moved to second generation firewalls. Okay. So packet filter firewalls were followed not long afterwards by stateful firewall, which is your second generation. So this was your stateful firewall. Okay. Now these second generation firewalls, they had the same capability that as packet filters. It was doing the same source IP, destination IP, but they monitored and stored the session and the connection state. That's why it was known as stateful. Okay. Stateless is the term when we use when there's no connection table formed, no session table formed. That means when a packet is coming inside the firewall, it is not maintaining a connection table whom the packet belongs to. Is just doing the packet filtering based on the source IP and the source and destination IP and source port and destination port. And stateful firewall means when the packet enters the firewall, it will first create the connection table. That's why it's called it's known as a stateful firewall. Okay. So this session and connection state was maintained. It was stored in a table, and the associated related packets in a flow based on source and destination IP address and the ports. Also, they introduce the protocols. Now, if a packet matches this information bidirectionally, then it belongs to the flow. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So, as as the use of internet expanded and businesses became highly, network, uh, selected. I mean, they could selectively provide the users with internet services, but they wanted to do this in a manner that allowed them to secure the assets against intrusions and attacks. Okay, originating outside their lands. Businesses also wanted to protect their network against attempts by employees and other corporate personals. So what was the additional thing over here? See, I mean, we should be suffice with the second generation firewall, but what was the additional? So additional requirement was the desire actually was to protect the networks against attacks launched actually either unknowingly or intentionally. So from within the LAN and across the network as well. So to solve this problem, stateful firewall was there. Now after this, what happened? Like stateful firewall addressed the packet filter firewall problem, but of not being able to determine if a return packet was from a legitimate connection, but the problem of not being able to differentiate good web traffic from bad source. So what was needed were firewall features that could detect and block web attacks, or it could if you could uh, inspect the web traffic. So that's why what happened over here, we moved something like we started something called as endpoint security. Have you heard of this term, endpoint security?
No.
Okay, now what is endpoint security, guys? It's simple. Endpoint security where uh, your antivirus, IPS, URL filtering. So all these will be under your endpoint security, like your semantic examples, so forth. So which will be deployed on the host machine. It was just an added feature. Clear?
Yeah.
So this added feature on the firewall, second gen firewall, or it's a feature where whoever user connected
So
through this
I
firewall will have this.
so no so I am just showing you the evolution of
Okay.
evolution over here. So it goes like this: from first, then second, then endpoint security, then we have your UTM.
Okay.
Okay. So endpoint security was mostly like your antivirus, which will be installed on the host. And we have multiple vendors in this: Sophos, Symantec, CrowdStrike. Then endpoint security. I mean, after that, what happened? Like this endpoint security was there to maintain your host and second generation firewall for your LAN. Now, what happened after this? So we came up with an idea with a new technology called UTM, that is known as Unified Threat Management. So what it did, this solution brought together a series of security services integrated on a single platform. Okay, so the wide range of features in this standard firewall, such as antivirus, VPNs, content filtering, load balancing, reporting. So this UTM provided defense in depth security, but performance remained an issue for larger enterprises. Why? Because we were doing multiple things at once. You're getting my idea, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we are doing the antivirus, we are doing the intrusion prevention. Okay, we are doing the filtering as well. Okay, and
Yeah.
so what happened over here? The main, see, we are getting the defense in depth security. That means everything is getting secure. It was secure, but the performance was the issue over here. Why? Because this was slow. All right.
Yeah.
So being slow, what happened over here? That gave again, we had something called as third generation firewall. Now, a firewall technology development continued its rapid advances. Attackers, they made their way up the OSI model layer looking for vulnerabilities, and firewall technology development also moved up to OSI model utilizing the higher layers to provide increased traffic and access protection, as well as they provided visibility into the attempted attacks. Now, traditional stateful firewalls provided protection based on control over protocols, ports, and which restricted traffic to and fro from the specific IP addresses. So these were considered inadequate to protect against the growing numbers and kinds of web-based attacks. It was increasingly common actually. Now, you remember web-based attacks easily, well-known ports actually easily, there was when these ports were easily attacked. The first port was HTTP port 80. Second is HTTPS port, uh, I'll just show it to you, HTTP port 80. Yes, can you see my screen actually?
No.
Okay, can you
Yeah.
see
No.
now?
Yeah. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we can see.
All right, so the second port was HTTPS 443, and your email port, let's say 425. Okay. Now, because firewalls based on protocols and ports were unable to distinguish the legitimate, applications using these ports, so they relied on protocols, and they were unable to distinguish, kind of web traffic that used the port from another. Now, what happened over here? We had, we introduced something called as third generation. Okay. Now, third generation firewall, what it did, these application firewalls, they solved the problem stemming from the fact that any application could run on any port. They gave administrators the ability to control and secure a network up to the application layer. So that means, guys, I don't have to follow the default or defined protocol over here. If I'm using a application firewall in a third generation, I was able to use HTTP on 8080. Okay, HTTPS on 4443. So we moved a little bit upper side from the port's point of view, so that it was hard for the attackers to come to know about the ports. So because most application ran on port 80, it became essential for security softwares to be able to distinguish one type of application from another. These application firewalls, they could inspect traffic contents, and they were able to block specific content such as web services and known viruses. Host-based application firewalls, they monitor the application input output system service cells. Okay, and web application firewall also was delivered to an appliance or server plugin actually to filter out the traffic by applying a set of rules to the HTTP conversations. Okay, now again, the problem was here. I mean, still the performance was an issue over here as well, right? So then what happened? Then in the year 2000, I think 2005, 2005, yeah, 2005, next generation firewall was introduced. Okay. Now, in generation firewalls, what happened? We were able to provide end-to-end network access control. High performance was, first of all, we had end-to-end performance. I'm sorry, network access control. Okay. And second, we had high performance over here. Okay. And every day we were updating the signatures. That is the application signatures. We were able to filter based on the web traffic, and obviously your intrusion as well. So what next generation firewall did? It provided the complete OSI model security. So first of all, next generation firewall, the packet filter firewalls went, it was in place. If yours that was monitoring and checking the source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port, and the protocols. Okay. Then we had access control, which uses a system processes and granted access to objects. Okay. Application security. So it was a protection against the unauthorized application attempting to bypass the fiber on open ports. Stateful was already there. Stateful firewall, which was like this next gen was maintaining the. I'm sorry, is maintaining the session and the connection state. Packets associated in a flow as well, and they were able to next gen firewall is able to make access decision actually based on source and decision information and the session connections as well. Now control after that we had antivirus algorithms over here, which was to identify the viruses, prevent, detects, and other malwares as well. And we have IPS, that is intrusion prevention system. It monitors the network for unusual behavior actually. Okay, guys, clear till here? Any doubts understanding the flow? I'm just keeping it very basic today actually.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, thank you. Now uh, so have you heard of this DOS attack or DDoS attack?
Yeah, all
Yes.
the terms.
Are we aware like what is DOS attack and DDoS attack? Okay, not a problem. I'll explain you. So DOS or DDoS. So guys, DOS stands for denial of service, and DDoS stands for the distributed denial of service. Now let's say, guys, if I have a server, okay, and the port is, let's say, 80, okay, and what happens like if I get a traffic over here, specifically, let's say if the server has an open port of uh, mm, let's say 443, okay. So if open port 443 or 80, and what I do, if the attacker tries to ping this server continuously, okay, continuous pings, let's say 10,000 pings at a time. So what will happen? The server will get busy actually. That busy in what? Busy in sending the reply. So he's getting the ping. It works on ICMP echo and ICMP reply, right? Echo request. So if he's replying to the ping, so the server went busy and its primary function was to serve the port 80, that is HTTP. And in the same time, if users are trying to access this port 80 service, they're unable to do so. Why? Because the server is busy in replying to the pings. This is known as denial of service attack. So whatever the service it was supposed to host, it is getting denied. Okay, and distributed, guys. Distributed means when the DOS attack is to a particular distribution group. Okay, that's known as DDoS. So this DOS and DDoS these two were actually taken care of in your next generation firewalls, because it was easy for the next gen firewall to locate the attack, and you will get an email, or I mean you will get the alert easily. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. All right, guys. So before we start, uh, so this was just a basic introduction to the first generation, second generation, and third generation next gen firewalls. So right now, Palo Alto guys, are you aware of the certification steps? What is the flow of certification?
Yeah,
Not
I'm interested.
So the first one is known as PCCSA. Okay, second is PCNSA, and third one is PCNSE. All right. CCSA, it's more into cybersecurity. NSA is your network, administrator actually, and PCNSE is your net deployment of a firewall. More into the, like, it will include all the more like uh, engineer certification. It will include all the Palo Alto devices. That includes the Cortex for cloud, and your normal next gen firewall. Okay. No.
So when you say cloud-based firewall is going to cover in this course,
And
Cortex?
Cortex is different domain actually.
Okay,
We are just we are just we'll be just getting trained on Palo Alto next gen firewall.
okay, okay.
Can I talk a little bit more about PCNST exam?
PCNSE or NSA?
E.
Okay, so PCNSE exam, like, you want to know what exactly it covers and what is the timing and all?
Uh, yeah, I know it's.
See, okay, I'll give the details. So certification name is Palo Alto Network Certified Network Security Engineer. Okay, it is delivered through PSN Woo. Exam series is PCNSE.
Okay.
Time will be, I think, 80 minutes, and number of questions will be 75.
so
Format
this session, yeah, this
format
session will
will
cover
be,
PCNSA or PCNSE.
sorry.
Uh, this this lecture series will cover PCNSA.
So, see, this will cover your piece, a bit of cybersecurity and your Palo Alto deployment.
So, what should be our exam code if you want to sit for vendor exams like Palo Alto exam? What should be our exam?
So, see, my My say would be if you can go for PCNSE because we'll be covering basic knowledge of cybersecurity. We'll be covering the deployment of Palo Alto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is any prerequisite for PC and SC exam?
No, no, there's no prerequisite. You can go to the Palo Alto website. And there, if you just type in Palo Alto certification and Google it, they will give you the website of Palo Alto. You can select all the three of them: PCCSA, PCNSA, and PCNSE.
Yeah.
And PCNSE guys, you just have to do there's a flow actually. First, you have to do an online video training. It's an online tutorial. Then you
Yeah.
have to give. Then you can book the exam and you can give it actually.
Okay.
And the format of the exam is multiple choice scenarios. When it comes with graphics and matching.
Okay. So maybe I need help from you for exam.
Sure, I will help you.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. So guys, do you have any questions till the basic things that we have covered today?
So when you say panorama, is a separate box panorama, or
No, actually,
it's a centralized location just
is
to
just
monitor all the firewalls in the network?
exactly, exactly. So whatever you have. See, earlier it was so much difficult to log into each and every firewall and manage it. Now, Palo Alto they came up with the panorama. That's is just a common console. Just an orchestrate.
Yeah, it's a common console provided by Palo Alto itself, like based on the based on the user account. Like when we purchase the firewall, they'll give. We don't maintain those console, right? Or
Yes.
do we? Or do we maintain console based on our firewalls management IPs or whatever IPs it is? We'll manage through that, or since
Uh,
you're saying this is not a box, this
okay.
is not a separate hardware.
So what happens over here? If you want to deploy Palo Alto, you have to go for the hardware boxes. You will get.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you have to install this Pan OS on on a VM machine actually on a VMware server, and from there what you can do, you can take the management consoles of all the firewalls which are deployed on in your site, and this VM that you've installed, Pan OS on a Panorama, you can access all the firewalls. You can actually maintain all the firewalls. You can configure. You can deploy the policies.
Okay. So we can have either management connections connecting to the VM or the server, or if they are into a network, then it is accessible, right? It's not
Absolutely.
necessary to have. Okay. But again, it's again required a certain amount of security to uh, get this set up, because since it's a firewall, it should have some security on it, right? Not like a ordinary server which we can able to access. It's not like a normal monitoring tool.
No, it's not a normal monitoring tool. It's actually the whatever CLI commands that you define. It is more like a GUI interface for you.
Yeah, no, that I got it. What I'm trying to say is like other monitoring tools where we can access all the devices, we can run a command from the other network monitoring tools. This is
Mhm.
not like that. This is something.
No, no. This
First
is
of
not.
all the firewall should be in management or some manageability, and that should be into our the intranet, and it should have some security so that they can. Uh,
Correct, correct. So what happens when you buy the Polo? I'll actually show you. I mean, how what happens when you buy a Polo Alto. So when you buy a new box, when you just take the box out of the I mean the Polo Alto firewall out of the box, you will see two consoles. One is called management, one is called CLI. So CLI is there just to take the console of the firewall and define the IP address, and management is there to access the GUI on your PC.
okay. And log collector, do we need log collector for every firewall, or
Panorama does it.
Every network.
Panorama will be doing it for you.
So we don't need a separate box. Okay.
No, we don't need a separate box. I mean, if I mean, again, it depends on your company size. So when you uh, approach Palo Alto for or the marketing team, they will ask you your requirements. Based on that, they will advise you you need a separate lock letter or not.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So today we have just covered the basics of this training session right now. Understanding the firewalls, that is what are the different types, the evolution. uh, from tomorrow same time we will start with the terminologies. I will show you the terminology which we have in the cyber security world, because as I've told you, first we will understand terminologies, that is let's say the exploits or the attacks. I know it will be a bit of uh, you know uh, classroom kind of training in the starting, but it will eventually get interesting once we cover the cybersecurity terminologies, once we hit the lab. Okay.
Okay.
And till the time we are in I mean till the time we will do the cybersecurity terminology, it will be a classroom session. And once we hit the lab, I will do the lab part and the knowledge part side by side. All right.
So we still have to cover Palo Alto technologies and all those stuff, right? The packet flow, Palo Alto
Yeah.
architecture. Like
Yes,
I'm
yes,
just going
yes, yes.
through the architecture, your
Yeah,
course
yeah, that
contents.
is okay. Yeah, I mean that is course content, but understanding the Palo Alto packet flow is very important. Otherwise, we won't be able to understand the traffic, how it is getting monitored and how it's passing. So I will explain you after the cybersecurity basic class is done. I will explain you the architecture, which is known as SP3. How I mean, and why actually Palo Alto is the fastest as of now, including all the OSI layer security. So you don't worry about that. We will obviously cover the architecture.
Okay, SP3. Sorry, what does it? SP3.
I'm sorry.
You said SP3.
Yeah, it's the Palo Alto, architecture. They have named it actually.
Okay.
Its full form is single pass parallel processing. Single pass. Okay, okay. And understand the meaning over here. Single pass parallel processing is just nothing. When the traffic comes inside, it will do the checks of all the layers one by one at one go. So it
Okay.
won't
All the
be.
seven layers.
Exactly. So it won't be like, like your first, second gen or third gen, that once we are done with the layer 3, then we'll check the layer 4, then the protocol, then the filter. So everything's over here happens at once. So it gives you high throughput.
Okay.
All right, guys. So I think I would end up the class over here. Hope it was good. If you have any questions from today, you can ask. And if you get any queries after this class, please make a note. We can discuss the questions again tomorrow. And guys, I'll just give you a personal advice that always have that Y and WHY content in you, so that you understand uh, in the sense like you can ask me why it is there, why it's not there. So if you have that why component in your life, you will be able to understand the technologies better. Clear?
Yeah. And Anupam,
Yes.
if you if you if you can have kind of your course content based on in which class you are covering which one, so that we can I can at least do some kind of prep work. Like today it's a demo or introduction class. Tomorrow you're saying you're going some cyber security basics, covering cyber security, and then moving to the Palo Alto technologies. So you have many topics, right? So which topics you are covering in which class? If you have
Sure,
some roadmap for this, say, training session, so that I can also plan accordingly.
sure. I will for sure go ahead and share the plan with you.
Okay. Can you share your email also, please?
Sure, I will share the email as well in the chat.
Okay. So
All right, guys. So
our class should be tomorrow exact time is like today.
exact time. Yes, exact time.
Okay.
So this will be Monday to Friday,
Yes, Monday
IST
to
hours.
Friday. Yes, IST 7 p.m.
Yeah, IST 7 p.m. Monday to Friday. So this is going to be a 4 weeks, or how long this course is for?
See, the course is for 4 weeks. Okay.
Okay.
And I don't go as per the 4 weeks. My main motive is you guys should be aware and you should be able to understand what I'm teaching you.
Okay. So it's a 90-minute session every day, or
Yeah, 90, 60, whatever it is. Sometimes I will gauge that, it's too much, then I'll stop the class because I don't want to overdo on everyone.
okay.
I try to keep the class as simple as possible. My training objective here is to make you understand, not to finish in like 4 weeks.
Okay. So followed by this demo call, like I'll sync up with the person who I'm coordinating on this. If you once anyhow, I'm going with this classes now, so might be tomorrow, followed by tomorrow class. If you let us know that what we should be some kind of preparation before we join the class, any
uh,
kind of something you want me to be,
Farooq, Farooq, I'll tell you. See, I've been in training for the past 8 years. Believe me, Farooq, it's easy. I want you guys to be blank before the class so that I can actually download all the details in you. So if you know something, it's good for you. But it will be better if you just be blank and join my class so that I can download everything. And believe me, you will enjoy this kind of approach rather than doing the homework and coming, joining the class. It's of no use when you do things on you. I mean, when you can, do the homework and join, so it becomes boring. Okay.
Yeah. So till now I'm confused about class. So class is Monday to Friday or is like tomorrow?
The classes will okay from tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is I think Thursday, right? Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
the class will happen. Again, the class will start commence from Monday to Friday.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
tomorrow the class will happen. Again on Friday the class will happen. Saturday, Sunday will be off. Then again you
Okay.
join on Monday till
Okay.
Friday.
Okay. Yeah. Got
Cool.
it. Got it. Cool. Yeah.
Okay, so are we good to end the session?
Yeah. I from my
Thank you.
side it's okay.
Thank you. Hope the class was clear and you guys have a good night.
Yeah. Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you.
Is the one.
Thank you.
thank you.